Hey friends, welcome back to Pages and Grace. My name is Jess. Thank you for joining me today. Today I want to talk about my 25 books that I want to get to in 2025. Hey friends, it's Jess. Welcome back to Pages and Grace. Today I want to talk to you about the 25 books I picked that I want to get through in 2025. So if you've been around my channel at all, you know that I don't typically do TBRs. This is the closest that I get to a TBR that I really hold myself to. Right now it's December. I think I have 4 more books on my list from 2024 I'm trying to get through, but I can do it. I still have a couple weeks left, but I am going to be making a list for 2025, the 25 books that are already on my shelves that I want to get through in the next year. Also, if you didn't notice, I'm sure you noticed, there's no books behind me. I'm definitely in a different location, and I feel like I'm probably going to be a little bit more echoey. And I'm not sure how this is going to work out, but I'm going to do my best. My husband is actually off work for the next 2 weeks, so I have a little bit of different time to film, and you might hear some wind. I'm sorry if it sounds super echoey. This is our camper that I absolutely love. We actually haven't gotten to go camping in quite a while with our 3 little ones, but hopefully someday soon. But I brought some books out here to talk about, and I'm excited to share my 2025 books that I'm going to get through. So to wrap up 2024, I will have a couple videos about my fiction and nonfiction. I picked 12 fiction and 12 nonfiction for 2024 to get through. I am so excited to make this list for 2025. I have some really good books to add to my list. I tried to do it a little bit differently this year. So last year I picked books that had been sitting there and I need to either read them or get them off my shelves. And I didn't quite do that this year. I wanted to pick books that I really was excited about reading. Hopefully it would motivate me mid-year where I kind of stopped reading my 24 books. I usually start the year off great and I read several of them right out the gate, and then I get distracted by other pretty books that come out. Anybody else have that problem? I definitely do. So let's start going through these books. There's no order. I have them on my shelves. I have a pretty picture. And then I had to bring them out here to the camper. So they're in a bag, all jumbled up. We're just going to go through them. We'll see how it comes out. Hopefully it's actually 25 books. At one point, I think I had 26. So if I talk about too many, I'll just delete it out. And then I'll really decide later. But let's get started. Okay, the first one I picked up off the pile is Salt of the Sea by Rita Sepetys. I love her work. I just finished Between Shades of Grey, and I really enjoyed it. I can't wait. This is an author I want to get through all of her backlist. So I added one more to my list for 2025. Another author that I've read several from. I really enjoy his writing. It is a push to get through sometimes, but I have 1776 by David McCullough. I read John Adams last summer and absolutely enjoyed it. This one, We Shall See, it's a little bit thinner, which is nice, but I'm excited to get through this book this year. I have the first book from the Chronicles of Narnia, and that is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe that I want to get through. It's a goal of mine this year to get through this whole series, but I wanted to put the first book on my list for 2025. I've actually owned several copies of this throughout my life. I know my mom gave me some when I was a kid. I think I lost those in a basement flood. With a lot of my books from when I grew up were lost, but I've been slowly recollecting the ones that I really enjoyed or wanted to get to, and this is one from that list. I have this beautiful edition of Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. I think I have this down that I'm going to be buddy reading this in March, and let me double check before I just call her out and say we're buddy reading it if she really didn't agree to it. But this one, Sense and Sensibility, is the next Jane Austen on my list that I want to get to. The next one is Premeditated Myrtle by Elizabeth C. Bunce, and this is a middle grade mystery that I want to get to. Maybe in March would be a good time to read that. The next book is Iscariot by Tosca Lee. This one was actually gifted to me from Krista. She was doing a giveaway from Books and Jams, and I definitely want to get to this one. I've heard high praises for it, and we shall see what my thoughts are on that. So that's on my list for 2025. The next one I have seen a lot of people read in my personal life. Like on my Goodreads, I have people I've known quite a while in my life and people I've met through BookTube and Bookstagram, which I love having that mix. But I do remember seeing this one first from one of my good friends from elementary school all the way through, and that was Having a Merry Heart in a Martha World by Joanna Weaver. I'm excited to see what this one's about, finding intimacy with God in the busyness of life. And that's by Joanna Weaver. Absolutely a message I need to hear, definitely. Let's see, C.S. Lewis, another C.S. Lewis on this list. The Screwtape Letters. Again, it's one of those books that's been on my shelf, calling my name, and I haven't picked it up yet. I haven't made time for it, to be honest. And I'm putting it on this list, so at some point this year, I will make time for it. The next one on my list is Six Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. This one I know I talked about in a previous video where I hauled this book. I've talked about wanting to pick it up, and it just needs to get done. I think February and March, actually January, February, and March are some of the best months to read fantasy books. And so I'm really looking forward to, hopefully towards the beginning of the year, picking this one up. The next one was recommended to me on Instagram quite a while ago, and I bought it and I haven't picked it up. I found this one on Pingo. Maybe. It feels pretty new though, so maybe I bought it new. I'm not sure. But that is Edenbrooke by Julianne Donaldson. I've heard this one. I've heard amazing things about this one, and I'm excited to look into more of it. I know I've seen several posts on Instagram actually where they talk about the books that they loved before Bookstagram. Probably has some pretty high praises if it was one of their favorites before they were inundated with all of the recommendations of Bookstagram. So I'm excited to hear what that one's about. The next book is The Heart of the Mountains by Pepper Basham. I just started Laurel's Dream this year. I think it was last month I read it, and I really enjoyed it, so I can't wait to get to more in that series. The next one is Where the Trees Touch the Skies by Karen Barnett, a Redwood National Park novel. I love nature, and I love when the stories that I read involve nature in some way. I love learning more about nature, and I'm really sorry if you can hear my rooster. There's a couple of roosters out there. It's a Redwood National Park novel. I absolutely love being in nature. I think I haven't made it to very many national parks just yet, but I have a dream to. And when I have little kids, probably isn't the best time. When they get a little bit older, absolutely, it's going to happen. This one is in California with the redwoods. I'm excited to pick this one up. The cover alone just spoke to my heart. So we shall see. The next one is The Victory Garden by Reese Bowen. I don't know a lot about this book, but we shall see. I attempt to preview my books before I buy them or purchase them. But you can't ever be 100% sure. So again, these books are not recommendations. These are what I want to get to, and then I'll let you know my thoughts on them. Victory Garden. I love stories about people who are at home during times of war, making things work. I am excited to pick this one up. We'll see if it falls in that category or not. The next one I purchased, it was in a book haul that I did, or a book shopping video, and I haven't gotten to it yet. I'm getting some light on me here. And that is Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I want to know what it's about. Again, another fantasy, probably a good read for early in the year. We shall see. I want to know what it's all about. The next book is one that was recommended to me by my husband. Every year I try to pick up at least one book that he wants me to read that he has already read. I think I talked about some books that he had read in my Books That Terrify Me video, and I'm sorry, I ignore it. I don't hear the rooster typically, but I have the window open because it feels so good. I thought it was gonna be so cold outside, and with that sun beaming down, it feels so good out here. Anyways, so my husband recommends one book a year to me. I think last year it was Kings of the Wild. I can't remember the author's name. I'll pop it up here. I enjoyed it. It was definitely more violence than I'm used to in books. I can't say it was wholeheartedly a clean book. I think there was lots of language in it, but I do see why he enjoyed it. The story, it was funny. It was kind of, I don't want to say cozy, but it definitely was. Anyways, once a year, I like to pick one book that he wants me to read and read it, and then we can discuss it and talk about it. One that he absolutely enjoyed. And he said, out of the scary books he's read, he wants me to read Devolution by Max Brooks. I'm probably going to be terrified. Talking about Bigfoot legend. I don't know. Oh, Mount Rainier, eruption. I think a city is cut off, and yeah, things start happening. It's definitely in the horror realm. But it's not a big book, and I will let you know my thoughts on it. We shall see. We shall see. I just keep scooting back. This mattress is absolutely super soft and not good for sitting on long term. Okay. The next one I have is the Foxhole Victory Tour by Amy Lynn Green. I talked about in a previous video, I think 2025 is going to be my year of historical fiction. I have so many good historical fiction books I want to get through, and this one is definitely on that list. The next one is Stay With Me by Becky Wade. I've read 2 other Becky Wade books and really enjoyed them. I have not started this series yet. And I have a few videos coming out about series. Look at me starting another series already, but I do want to start this one and see if it's a series I want to continue. I do see these books quite a bit on Pengo where I could add them, but I just don't know if I like it yet. So I'm going to start this to see if it's a series I want to collect or not. So in this one, I won it in a giveaway not too long ago, and that is Prelude of Fire by Christine Schulz. That cover is gorgeous. I love the cover. I am so curious. I've seen her talk about this quite a bit on Instagram, and I'm intrigued, and hopefully these fantasy, I can get to them towards the beginning of the year. Again, I keep saying that. The next book is Love in the Eternal City by Rebecca W. Martin. I am excited to pick this one up. It is set in Rome and the Vatican City and Italy in general. I feel like from the blurb in the back. I am really excited to pick this one up. It is a Catholic romance, which I've never read a Catholic romance before. This one comes highly recommended, and I'm excited to see what it's all about. I feel like as I'm going, I'm sinking slowly into this mattress. It's a memory foam, so as I sit here longer, I just keep going down further. The next book is Lynn Austen, If I Were You. It's a Christie Award honoree historical fiction. I have not tried a Lynn Austen book before. I see so many of her books recommended, and this is the first one I have that I'm going to try. Again, historical fiction, Martha Hall Kelly, The Lilac Girls. Again, another historical fiction. I need to sprinkle these throughout the year so they don't all blend together. But I'm excited to pick that up and try another author. Another new to me author that I want to try out this year is Lisa Wingate, The Book of Lost Friends. I actually, looking through, I had 2 copies of this book, the same book. So I had hardcover and paperback. So they did look very different, but yeah, I probably should keep track of them a little bit better. But I'm excited to pick that one up this year. The next one is The Church History. I bought this book earlier this year. It almost looks like a textbook reading through it. But this is one that I want to spend some time with. It's actually a full color maps and everything throughout the book that I'm excited for. It looks like it's going to read like a textbook. That's okay. I can do that. But it is just, I want to spend more time learning about my faith, learning about the history of my faith, and understanding just where we come from and how did we get here. So the next one is actually a book I heard about in middle school. One of my teachers was actually my 8th grade religion teacher who brought up this person, this author, and talked a little bit about his history, about his journey to his faith. And it's one that I wanted to, it's been on my list to read, probably. 8th grade, probably the longest book on my list to read. But I actually have my mom's copy. Let's see what she made about this far. In it. And it's one that I want to get to this year, and that is Rome Sweet Home, Our Journey to Catholicism by Scott and Kimberly Hahn. And so I'm really intrigued by this story. I'm excited to get to it, and I'll let you know my thoughts. Oh, these roosters. The last book, I actually started this one in November, and like I've said in previous videos, that I started a lot of books in November and I put a lot of books down in November because I really wanted to get to them and enjoy them, and I just was not in the right headspace to do that in November. This one is The 29th Day by Alex Messenger. It's surviving a grizzly attack in the Canadian tundra. It was intriguing so far. I just couldn't get into it in November, and I'm hoping to in the next year. So if this video wasn't already chaotic enough, I'm sitting here editing it after I got my kids to bed, and I realized I never signed off. So this is me adding to the roosters and the sinking bed while I was trying to record. I was getting so frustrated. And now we're gonna say goodbye. Thank you so much for watching. If you really made it this far in the video, please leave me a comment or just an emoji down below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.